Hi, this is Anusha. Do you mind taking 10 seconds of your time to rate and review us on any platform that you're listening to? This will really help other people find our podcast and we would greatly appreciate it. We do really want to meet other people. We really want to include more people into this community. We want to meet people that are also transitioning in their 20s. So we would really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Thank you so much. And now let's get into the episode.
Wait, but we don't have to have it figured out.
Guess what he said?
That's what
No,
they
not
say.
again.
But sometimes it's like,
I know.
there's so much free will.
But how?
It's okay, take it easy.
I know. Life is hard.
But then we have
It's so hard. We have to figure so many things out. Money, marriage. No, I don't understand my friendship. Yeah, sometimes it's just so confusing.
I love you.
Having like a therapy session here right now.
Or maybe it's just conversations over coffee. I hate confronting people.
I would love a hot chocolate right now.
Do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the 20s in Transition podcast, everyone. We are your hosts, Anusha Kannan and
Likita Gopinath, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about hyper independence in women, especially because we are women and we can talk about our experiences. So, excuse me for my voice. I have a cold, I have a sore throat, I'm sick because I've been traveling. So, I mean, if I sound like this, it's because of that. But yeah, anyway, let's talk about what hyper-independence is in the first place. What do you think is hyper-independence in women?
yeah, we're going to talk about two things, hyper-independence and the I don't need a man sentiment. But with hyper-independence, I think it's a certain individual that thinks that they don't need to rely on anyone. They think that they can handle everything. They have this whole attitude of I don't need anyone's support. And I don't know, man, I think a lot of people talk about this, right? Like, I think both men and women say that I don't need a man and I'm so independent, I don't need a man. And men look at that and they say that, oh, she doesn't need anybody, she can take care of herself, and what role am I going to play in her life? Why would she need me? And I think that comes from this whole mindset of men having this provider mindset. And I don't know if that's like a trigger or if that's an insecurity, but I think I've seen that on like social media and everywhere, where men think that when a woman is independent, when a woman is, she can make her own money, she can do her own stuff, that she's hyper independent and that she doesn't need anybody. And with women, I've also read and seen and kind of, quite frankly, have a lot of friends that are also, like that would say that I don't need anybody's help, I can do everything by myself. And I kind of might fall into that category sometimes. I'm like that too, but I don't think it's about not wanting anyone. It's more about like, let me try it out first. Like, can I experience it? And I think it's more like that. I mean, a lot of people would look at you and tell, why is she traveling alone? She can take her friends with her. Why is she doing this? But you have your reasons to do that. It's got nothing to do with anybody. It's got everything to do with you wanting to experience something by yourself. What do you think it is? Hyper independence.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like hyper-independence, so I read this in a book and it's actually a trauma response, right? We were actually talking about this. Usually very prominent in firstborn children because, especially if they have like younger siblings, they are like, let out to fend for themselves and they have to do almost everything on their own. And I mean, nowadays it's much more common in everybody, not just firstborn kids. So yeah, I think it's like a response to, where you have to achieve a lot of things, do things on your own to prove your worth, which is not necessarily the truth because we are worth it just how we are, just by ourselves. You don't really have to achieve anything or like do something out of your own way to be worth it. So I feel like I look at hyper independence that way because it's more like I can do this on my own. I'm perfectly fine on my own. I don't really need your help. It's almost offensive to the other person, but it's actually coming from a completely different place, right? It's not to put anybody else down, but almost like, yeah, I can do this. See, I'm going to show you how I do this on my own. And that's how we like to prove our worth and say, hey, I'm worthy now because I've done this on my own and I've done so many things, I've achieved so many goals, things like that. So I feel like that's where hyper-independence comes from. And especially in women, like we're like told all our lives that, hey, I mean, especially Indian women, we're told all our lives that get married, we're almost said that, it's like our ultimate goal in life to get married, to have children. And then it's somehow offensive to us because, like, I mean, we're human. That's not what, why we were born, right? And to somehow prove that wrong, we try to, like, say that, hey, I really don't need a man. you know, I can do this alone on my own. I really don't need a man. If I tell this to my mom, she's gonna. But I know she's listening to this, so this is how I feel, ma. But yeah, I think it's like especially in Indian women and a lot of brown families, right? That's how we are brought up, and then we want to show our families and our parents that, hey, this is not my goal in life. Getting married, having children, you know, starting a family is really not the ultimate goal in life, and I can do this all on my own. I really don't need a man. So yeah, that's how I think it has come up. And I mean, case in point, both of us also feel like that sometimes, right? And we're slowly like letting that hyper independence go, saying that, listen, we are worth it on our own, and maybe just tap into our feminine energy a little bit, you know, not always having that go get it, go get shit done energy. So yeah, that's what I think is hyper independence. And
Yeah, I mean, with the whole like having goals and achieving it, I don't know how I feel about this whole masculine feminine energy, because I mean, I get that it was like that before, right? And I know we've talked about, like, Kita and I have these conversations all the time when we're talking, like, off camera. I just think that masculine energy, feminine energy that a man has to provide, that a woman doesn't have to provide. First of all, a woman cooking, taking care of the house is providing. It's not just a man who goes to work, makes money. That's not just the provider attitude. I think even a woman has always been providing. And I think they have just taken on different roles because of, you know, how things were back then. And the man just was physically strong, right? He was physically strong enough to hunt and go find food. And the woman was just like, she had a kid, you know, she was physically weak, not weak at the time, but actually, you know, she needed to get out of the whole giving birth. She had to take care of her body, take rest. And I think the whole thing has progressed into this way of a man has to pay, a man has to do this, a woman cannot do this, a woman has to be in her receiving energy, a woman has to. I'm not saying any of those things are wrong, but I think it's wrong to generalize that and say that women should always be this way. Women belong in the kitchen. Listen, I love cooking. I love cooking more than anything else. But I don't think it's right for someone to tell me, you belong in the kitchen. You have to cook. You have to cook for your man. How about a man cooks for me? Like, why can't you do that? And I would love if someone can cook for me. You know, everybody wants food. Like, what's that got to do with gender or anything? And that's just what is funny to me, because I think a lot of people put all these labels on top of it and they say this is what a man should do, this is what a woman should do. Like, everybody can do everything. Whatever they can do physically, I can do that too. I'm not saying, like, I remember there's this one video of Priyanka Chopra saying that we're not saying that we want to lift weights like how men do. We can lift weights in our own, you know, terms, and how we are, however it is healthy for us to lift weights. So when you have that in mind, I just don't know, like, are you a little insecure or something? Because I don't know why you're getting so triggered. And I don't think that when a woman is independent, let's say financially independent, it doesn't mean that she doesn't want your, you know, acts of service or your love of like gift giving or whatever. That has got nothing to do with what she's making, how much she's making, how she's making. It's got nothing to do with that. And I think a lot of men with the provider energy think that if a girl's making her own money, why does she need me? Because we have emotional needs. I have seen so many of my girlfriends struggle with, you know, finding a man or just like even being friends with a guy, because I don't know for what reason, but it sort of triggers them, or I don't know if it's if trigger is the right word to use. It sort of just makes them feel like, oh, she can take care of herself. I don't have to do anything for her. I mean, this might not be the best of examples to give, but when we move out of a parent's house, we're not really relying on them for their money. Does that mean they're going to stop showering you with gifts and love and whatever it is that you want? No. So I think when people start understanding that a woman going to work and then her being confident has got nothing to do with you, but everything to do with her, because of how we saw women growing up, right? Women, I mean, I think you and I, when we were growing up, we still saw women fighting for everything, fighting for equal pay, fighting for this. So for anybody to think that we won't have a little bit of attitude, a little bit of that confidence it's funny, man. Like, how can we not? We fought for this for years. And I'm not saying that we're trying to put men down or anything. We frankly just want to be confident. We just want to feel good in our skin. We just want to do whatever it is that we like. And I don't know how that became hyper independence, but I do agree with the point where some of it is a trauma response, right? You might have had situations in your life where you might have not had someone that you could depend on. You might have not had people that, have been supportive. And that's something that we can talk about. What do you think about that?
So, like you said, a part of it can be, trauma response. It's not necessarily that, the whole hyper independence thing, quality in a woman is entirely trauma response. It's just how we're, you know, I think I've told you about this. Like recently, I was been going on a lot of dates and shit. Like, so I like paying the bills because I feel like I don't owe that person a lot, right? So I don't know where that feeling comes from. I really don't, but I don't like the other person, especially if I don't know them very much. If it's my friends, like, guys, take me out. Like, you know what? I let you pay the bills and I'm not sending you the money. But if it's someone that I really don't know, and if it's a man, and I feel like I need to pay the bill, and I've done this so many times and I regretted it later, I'm like, why the hell did I cover that? For that person also. I barely know him. So I feel like I should stop. And it's a feeling of that you owe that person and you don't want that feeling to be there, and then it's fine even if that person owes you. And mind you that those men have not even sent me the 50% of the bill, to me. It's just me covering the entire bill, and I'm just like, where's my money? But that feeling of owing someone is just doesn't sit right with me, and I am like, better paying the entire bill than to feel that feeling of owing someone for the rest of your life. So yeah, it's just way different, man. Like we spoke about this, it just depends from woman to woman how they've brought up and how they feel. Some people lean into the feminine energy and they're fine with that, right? They're fine with their partner like leading them, or like, oh, this reminds me of that office joke.
It's the
All right.
world.
Lead me when I want to be led,
To be
when I'm in the
led.
mood to be led. Yeah, it's exactly that. When I'm in the mood
Exactly.
to be led,
Yeah.
do it. When I'm not, know your place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you there. I think also like this feeling of some men, I'm not saying all men, but some men, they can make you feel like, not just men, like people in general can make you feel like, oh, I did this for you and you're behaving like this with me. That triggers me, man. I can tell you, like, I just think a lot of people don't understand this because it's like, not everyone is like that, because some people won't even like remember that they did certain things for you, and that's love people like that. I'm like that. I won't remember if I paid something for you. I just won't remember. And that's, I mean, that majorly, that credit goes to how I was raised. My parents never made a big deal out of, what we were spending or anything like that. And I've talked about this on the financial independence episode as well. But there are some people that will tell you that, and it just makes you feel like, I can afford that. I can do it by myself. I don't really need you to do that. I thought you were doing it out of love or whatever. And I think that's what has really like made women feel like, you know what, let me do it myself. The only problem is like they feel like you owe them something, and they feel like they can come and collect it anytime they want, which is not which a lot of women don't like. And I don't know, I think that's why people are really, changing these days. Girls especially are changing these days because of that. And but let me tell you, like, let me do a refresher course for you guys. Like boys especially, women don't, they're not like, oh, we don't need, there's nothing like that. Like everybody, we're all humans, we all have emotions, we're all the same, people, we all have the same needs and wants. But you just need to understand how you're approaching certain situations, because I think money is always a very, sensitive topic. And not just money, also like how you act with certain people. Certain people are like, oh, you can't lift that, let me lift that. Are you saying that because you think I'm incapable of that? Or are you saying that because you love me? Like that makes a huge difference, because I think especially women, we will lift heavy bags just to prove that we can lift it, even though we know it's going to hurt our hands. I have done that ever since I was a kid.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Anything to prove that I'm not weak and I can't do something, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it right in front of your eyes. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's also
You're
like the
right.
whole predator prey mindset, right? Like, we are not a prey. We are also predators. We can also hunt. Which I think a lot of people, you compare to animals, right? Like the female lion is always the most, demanding, commanding one. And the male lion is not actually, he knows when to put his foot down, and he knows when to put her foot down. And I think that balance we can learn from animals. Like if animals can do it better than us, we've got a lot to learn. We've got a long way to go. But I've in general like heard from so many close male friends and people that I've male figures in my life tell me that you're so independent, you're so like you have such a reeking masculine attitude. I'm like, have you seen me? Are you serious? Like, come on. I just think it takes a lot of time and it differs from one woman to another on how you let your guard down, who you let in. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being that precautious, right? I mean, you can be really soft and really nice to people, but I just think women are just tired of being walked all over, and that's why we've become this way. It's a trauma response. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, completely agree. Completely agree on that. Uh, when you're just underestimated, you just want to show people that you can do it, and that's how you
Yeah,
make
and
sure. And
it's
it's
not
become like
anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
it's
permanent
not gender
thing. It's
specific.
now we're
Everybody would do
eternally
that.
hyper independent.
But I do think that with the right kind of people, we do let our guards down. Like when you and I first met, we were probably not this, vulnerable with each other. But now we're able to be that people because I think trust is something it's got to be earned. A lot of people think that, oh, just because we're women, we'll just like trust each other. That's not the case. Yeah, we'll know what you're feeling even if you don't talk about it. That is there between one woman and another. But I don't think it's like something you can just give off to anybody because that's just not human nature, right? You have to earn that trust. But I also think there is one concept that comes to mind is the whole Barbie thing that happened. Like so much women do so many things, but we still don't get recognized for it. So how can you expect not for us not to be this hyper independent? We'll always try to prove our worth because I don't think we have to prove our worth, but it just ends up being that way, and that's the sad reality. It made me
Yeah,
so
I think the
mad.
world would be a much better place when we really understand that, we're worth it all by ourselves. We don't have to achieve anything, like I said in the beginning of this episode, which is very difficult, right? It feels like you need to have so many feathers on your hat, so many badges, so many goals and like awards and things like that for someone to like love you, right? But that's not how it works, and I
Yeah.
wish that a lot of people knew that, and hope we all work towards that. And oh, this meme that I saw came to mind. Okay, so I think I shared this with you also. I think it says, "I'm done girl bossing. I just want to move to a farm in Tuscany, start a family, cook for them all the time." I'm really oscillating between the two. Should I be like a girl boss, or like, should I have like a cottage lifestyle with a family?
See, that's what people
I'm
don't
really torn
get. We can
between the
do
two.
both. We can do both. That's what people don't understand. Because, see, I
Yeah.
think, no, I'm not trying to like say this in a gender specific way, but women become mothers, right? Not all, everyone, but most people become mothers. So the whole nurturing aspect is within us, and who we show it to is so selective, and that only, I don't think everybody has to see that. A lot of people think that a woman always has to be very maternal in front of everybody. No, I can just be like that in front of the people that really know me. I don't have to show it to you. I don't have to cook food for you and then show it to you. Look, I'm such a wife material. Like, I don't have to prove anything to you unless I want to prove. And it's not about proving, it's just like showing that side of you. And I think it's so stupid. Why would I go to work and show people, look, I've cooked. Look, I'm such a maternal person. What's the point in showing that to those people? I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but I'm saying like that situation doesn't call for it. So why am I going to do that? I think that's what people need to understand. Like if I go to Starbucks and you go get my cup of coffee instead of me going and getting my own cup of coffee, that doesn't instantly make you maternal. You're just like, I went there, I just got this cup of coffee for you. But sometimes like let's say that I spill that coffee all over me and you're like, instead of just watching me and just handing the tissue and be like, clean yourself, you might help me. You might be like, oh my god, let me help you. And that makes you instantly like, that gives us a bond, right? Like, wow, she's helping me clean myself. That is so sweet of her. And I don't think you'll do that for everybody. Not everybody wants to be touched. So I mean, there are certain things you do in certain places, and that a lot of people do judge, that way. That especially if it's like a romantic thing, I think a lot of people judge you based on how you react with just like probably 3 or 4 interactions. Like how are you supposed to know a person with just 3 or 4 interactions? How are you, especially girls, like how we are not going to let our guard down that easily. Come on, man. It's 2024. You've got to understand that. And I don't know. I just think
There's just too
it's
many heartbroken people, both men
I
and
don't know
women,
about
yeah.
that. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think it's just like the romantic ones. It's like a lot of things people let you down, people you expect things and things don't happen the way you want them to. So many things happen in life, man. So just like don't judge someone based on the thoughts and data that you have on your mind. There are so many things going on in someone's lives and that you just don't know about. So just give people time to open up and make a safe space for them to open up. I think I do a good job of that. People open up to me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
you're a
like a
fire sign.
confession.
But you're an Aries. How is that possible?
So, I don't know. People open
Usually
up to me.
happens with water signs.
I have no idea. People open up to me all the time. I love that they
Oh,
open up to me.
astrology is another huge topic.
Yeah,
My
Nikita's
God,
been
from not
wanting to do an
believing into
episode on
it,
that.
from not believing in it to like actually being mind blown by the accuracy. I'm like, wait, what? But yeah, another one. And we were talking about masculine and
You're wrong. Wait, I'm not saying I'm not like you're wrong, but I actually have seen so many Aries. A lot of my best friends are Aries people, and we constantly open up to each other, and that's weird for me. And I've always, some of my closest friends are Aries people, and I always only open up to them. I have like 3 people on my mind right now, like except you, of course, but you're close. You're almost
thank
Aries.
you. Yeah, I am almost Aries.
You're almost Aries. Like you just missed it by 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it. Like we were talking about masculine and feminine energy, but I mean we could go really deep into that because Anusha and I have been like talking about it a lot and you know how we are trying to like tap into our feminine energy and
Not me.
for those
She's
of
been
you who don't see, watch my life change like this. I show you, then you learn from me.
I need
I mean,
facts.
you don't
I
know.
need, yeah, I need facts. I need data backed, evidence to show
Yeah.
that it actually
Yeah.
works.
I
So
just need some time, right? I just need some time. Maybe like a few months or something.
she just went on a
Noting
solo
down the
trip.
data.
She's saying she's stepping into her feminine energy. Come on, Nikita.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can talk about this, okay? Because my mom will be listening. But
Auntie
the
pause,
way
auntie
I was
pause.
put, the way I was put in my feminine energy, but by someone, I was like, is this how it feels to be treated like this? Is this how it feels to not be going and getting shit done and doing things? Is this
See,
how
but
it feels to
here's the thing,
receive
though.
things?
Were
Oh
you
my
made
God,
to
I was like,
were you made to feel bad about being in a feminine energy?
no, that was the best part, and I was like,
See,
wow, this place is amazing. What is this place? I mean,
that's what
to
I
my
don't get to
credit, I
experience.
would tell you the whole story, okay? Because it's been life changing. I've already told you what happened. I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to
Actually,
shout
first,
it out to the world. I'm a completely different person now. I'm like, wait, I went to get my advanced diving certification, okay? Not to come back a different person, but I am a different person now.
yeah, I know, I know. Just so you guys know, I got the tea first. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, actually, you did.
Yeah. Well, this has
Anyway,
been fun. I think we'll also like dive more into some attachment styles, and I think this will fall a little bit into that, and we'll definitely do another episode on that because I think we've talked about this so much, we've learned so much about it. Both of us are geeks for those topics, so I think we'll do that. If you guys like have any specific questions on either of these two topics, like go on Instagram, we'll put a Q&A poll, go and like answer, put your questions there, and we'll try and cover that in our next episode because I think next or that episode whenever we record that. But I think that'll be interesting because I feel like we've been like talking about our points and what we've seen other girls experience in ourselves. But I think I want to like hear from our listeners, like both men, women, whatever it is. I want to hear from you guys, and we want to hear from you guys and like just know what are your
yeah,
thought process like behind this one. What do you think this is all about? Do you agree
especially
with
the
it
men, like we
specifically?
would like an opinion from the guys, you know. Don't be shy.
Yeah. Or just use the anonymous NGL link if you don't want your names out there. That's totally fine too.
Yeah, we have that especially for you guys because we know you'd be shy.
Definitely do it for this topic because we're very interested to see like what you think. And yeah, there's something definitely that we should talk about because I think it's so important, especially in our 20s, to learn about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, we've come to the end of this episode. It feels like I'm talking like this, but I'm actually not. I have a cold. But Okay, we really hope you guys liked it, and let us know your feedback on the Indian link or DM us on Instagram. And thank you for listening. We're so grateful.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye.